Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Mediocrity Sports Show. As always, I'm Kobe, and with me we have Mike. What is going on, man, tonight?
What's going on, man? We got an exciting episode today. Great interview lined up that we were highly anticipated with. So it should be a fun one. All right. Without further ado, we have Morgan State alum receiving her degree in broadcasting and journalism. She worked for a as a production assistant for ESPN on such shows as Sports Center and NFL Live. And she currently is the host of your favorite sports podcast, Roaming the Airways, Rolling with Ramos. She is currently in her 8th year of her podcast. And without further ado, we have Miss Mykell Ramos. How are you?
Hey,
What's
Fellas,
going
welcome,
on?
welcome.
Welcome
fellas,
to the show.
thank you for having me. We spoke on Wednesdays and true hump day ness.
In
I
true
get a chance
fashion.
to end it with you guys. Maybe it's not so bad after
Hey.
I agree. I agree. Everything is better when you record an episode. All right.
with no glitches.
Yes, no glitching and with some water.
Yes.
All right, we can get started. So first, what made you want to get into broadcasting? I know you got your degree in journalism and broadcasting, but what made you want to get into that?
I've wanted to do it my whole life. My father, God rest his soul, Mike Ramos, he taught me the game. He played ball, played sports. If you go to Bridgeport, Connecticut, and say his name, people will know who he was. And at the time when you're a little kid, they say that he used to hold me in his arms as he watched the game. And you thinking, you just spending time with your daughter. You don't know what's going to manifest. And
Hmm.
one of my favorite player ever was Kobe Bryant. The only man that can stand next to the GOAT. Now, I understand what y'all be talking about. I
Hmm.
understand. I get it. The only man that can stand next to GOAT. Y'all just not going to skip over Kobe Bryant career. But that's another episode.
Hmm.
He said, I don't know if you recall the interview he had with Ahmad Rashad before he retired. He said, a lot of people go their whole lives trying to figure out what drives them, what pushes them, what motivates them, trying to find their passion. And he was lucky enough to find his early in basketball. And I think that's holds on as far as me in sports. Like, I turned on the TV at 9 years old. The NBA on NBC's on, and y'all remember the jingle, and
Oh
we might
man.
we might end up getting back to that jingle. But I mean,
Hmm.
y'all remember the jingle, and the camera turns the hand of storm, and I didn't
Hmm.
even know what a broadcaster was, and it made sense for me. And since I was 9 years old, it just made sense, and I've been able to carve that path ever since. I used to have I had a high school teacher that he was my history teacher. He would not only grade my history papers, but he would grade my blogs on Kobe and Shaq and the Lakers. So you never knew what you were cultivating. So I went to school with a plan, and I was able to. I was just able to go through life knowing what I wanted and what I was going to do, and I think that's a luxury.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Speaking of nostalgia, when those games came on last night and I heard the music, I said, "Oh my god!" Like, just brought back so many memories. Yeah, yeah. I was
And
like,
it
"Oh, they
comes
they
with
brought this
Michael
back."
Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley. It
Mm-hmm.
comes with the Bulls and the Jazz
Yes.
and the this, the follow through. It comes with all of that.
Everything, yeah. And then I agree. I mean, I feel like Kobe is kind of slept on. He's not in that MVP or that the GOAT conversations like that. You always just hear Jordan and LeBron, but Kobe is definitely a solid number two in that GOAT, especially as far as the mentality. Uh,
Listen to Mike himself, okay? Nothing against LeBron. Nothing against.
mhm.
I think LeBron has been able to harness what Kobe and Shaq weren't able to do to the latter parts of their career. When you talk
Mm.
about keeping your body together and the teamwork aspect, but there's just certain elements, I mean, and you got to look at where Kobe came from in a league where you could either be Tracy, you could be Grant Hill, you could be White Chocolate. There were so many people that
Mhm.
Kenyon Martin. There were so many people. Kobe still found his way to elevate over those people. But like I said, it's another conversation.
Yeah, for sure. So when you worked on like certain sets like ESPN or even NBC Sports, what was your role like behind the scenes on those shows, like the day to day?
I'm a DMV girl, born and raised. I've lived in every part of the DMV. For everybody that tries to say, "Oh, you're not from DC," and born and raised in DC, moved here. I lived in every part. Okay, so I worked for NBC Sports Washington before it became Monumental. That's stage managing, making sure people go to the right cameras. I worked in audio. I actually got my start with my own personal reps. Doing sideline for my alma mater, Morgan State University, after I graduated. And then I would travel around doing HBCU sports. I did a couple CIAA tournaments. I did a couple of MEAC tournaments, all in conjunction with a place called Heritage Sports Radio Network. It was a group of HBCU grads that just came together and did a radio thing of going around and doing all the big HBCU games. And one job led to another job. Someone knew somebody that was working at CTV, Prince George's County Public Television. Shout out to Losford Road. And after I graduated Morgan, I lived in Baltimore for 12 years. And they said, hey, the Charm City Classic, is it going to be in Baltimore? Because before the Wizards were the Washington Wizards, they were the Baltimore Bullets. And my first time covering a basketball team, and it was Carmelo was still in the league at the time. He was playing in New York, so the hometown boy was coming home. He was actually the first athlete I ever interviewed, and then that snowballed into other things. I'm a part of the National Association for Black Journalists. So, 1 year I went to the convention. It was in Vegas, happened to be in Vegas, and went to the booth and was able to work for ESPN for 2 years and learn how the machine really works, how to produce, how to edit from scratch, and do those big montages that they do. And it's crazy to go through certain things and people will recognize your work. So, for example, I don't know if you watched that Super Bowl show about a year ago. I pitched to our Sports Center crew because they were looking for things to do on that Super Bowl Sunday. Jeff Darlington, he's from Miami, and they gave him a lot of cold games that year. And I did like this funny montage of his battles with the weather. He was coming out of an igloo in Kansas City. If you remember it, that was me.
Oh wow, that's dope.
Right.
That is dope.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and we definitely gonna dive into that more, because I know that could be stressful and stuff working for such a big show like that. But what's something about being a production assistant that most people don't realize?
My time in it, you at the totem pole, you there just to make sure you running a machine, but it's the voices are doing what the voices do. And you just gotta really be on your P's and Q's as far as your maintenance of mistakes. And one time I cut a highlight. It was supposed to be a VO at the top of the show on Josh Allen, not Josh Allen of the Bills, Josh Allen from the Jags. And there's certain things you got to just pay attention to, and sometimes you miss it. But just paying attention to detail, and being in what ESPN did teach me that I already knew, but I was able to fine tune, was the art of telling a story, specifically through videography. For a long time, I told a story through my voice. And what ESPN allowed me to do was, when I had to do those montages, really sit and listen and think, how do I want to put these clips together? What drama do I want to bring? Or what is the message that I'm trying to tell? And each show, definitely, whether it's Sports Center or NFL Live, which was great because I'm a football girly, working on there was amazing. Sports Center taught me also to step out of my, as far as production assistants, anybody that's coming into this industry, because that's what you're going to probably go into, interning a production assistant, step out of your comfort zone. I love basketball, I love football, I love baseball, but I didn't know anything about a hat trick. I knew hockey. I didn't know anything about a hat trick. If it didn't have Ovechkin on it, as a home team, I wasn't paying it no mind, but I did cover it on the show, but you do your research, but having to cut certain things for the NHL and having to cut things for college football got me into more college football and the excitement of it, and cutting stuff for baseball made me look forward to October in ways that I didn't look forward to it before. So step out of your comfort zone and get into those sports that you don't know, especially when you're a person, especially when you're a female, and a person of color. You gotta, don't be afraid to stand out and do what's different, because basketball and football is not going anywhere. Everybody wants to do that. It's a dime a dozen. But if you can show that you can do this, you can transcend, and you can make yourself a little bit more marketable.
And I like that you touched on that. Being a woman of color, and though that's another barrier in itself. So I know, at times it could have made it kind of tougher, kind of navigating, your day to day, or kind of, trying to, get to the your next goals and things like that. I'm sure maybe sometimes that kind of played a part in it, being a woman of color.
I think everywhere, when you're a person of color, you fight hard to fight the stigmas that people will place on you before they even say hi, and you say my name is. Those aggression undertones, and people think you're aggressive, or they're afraid of you before they even shake your hand, or you have a certain tone when you want to get the job done that may come off wrong, that somebody else may say sound differently. But what I was taught by those around me, Jay Harris, one of my mentors, there's not a greater human being in this business than Jay Harris. And shout out, while I'm at this, shout out to David Aldridge, shout out to DA, our uptown DC brother. But there's no greater human than them two. But Jay Harris told me one time when I was asking him about this. He said they hired you, right? And I said, yeah, they did. And they hired you to be you. And that's all you can be. And I've just tried to remember that. And I think we all just try to remember that, whoever you are, because we are our own harshest critic, so if you hold on to that, you can't forget why you're doing it and what you're doing. Hopefully. It's hard. Adulting's hard. Life is hard.
Adulting is definitely hard. I'm gonna get into one other question before Kobe jump in. So, watching your episodes on Rolling with Ramos, I found it really special when, before each episode, it's like you dedicate those episodes, to your dad, shouting him out, having that, one-on-one really quick with him. I know you spoke about, him inspiring you to, get into production and broadcasting, but can you dive a little deeper on, his inspiration and, why you do, take that one-on-one time and dedicate, those shows to him and things like that?
Well, when I first started, the show's called Rolling with Ramos. So when I first started, I would say I'm the one that holds the last name, Ramos. I would like to thank my daddy for that one, but he was still here. And so as time progressed, and as he left us in 2018, it became Mike Ramos in Heaven. And I looked up and I switched it up a little bit. And I think, and then if you look at my logo, I don't know if you guys had a chance to check out the logo. When I post the show, like clips of the show, I'll post the logo, and it's a picture of him. I don't have it sitting with me, but if I would have known you would ask that question, I would have grabbed it. Actually, it's a picture of him, with the ball in his hand. If you saw, it's a picture of him with the ball in his hand, and he's dribbling it, and I made him the logo of the show, so he's like my Jerry West. I actually sold apparel, roll with a Ramos or two, and it makes perfect sense. You making me want to go through this laundry basket and pull it out right now. It makes perfect logical
No, we definitely go throw it up later. Yeah, we definitely gonna edit that in.
Shining out, and the show's called Rolling with Ramos, and that was my dad, because I feel like I knew him. I feel like I had a relationship with him in two ways. He was my dad. I was his girl. That was my homie, could talk to him. I can confide in him. I could argue with him. And then I had this whole career that embodied everything that he was. You know, as time has progressed, it's been very difficult to not be able to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, did you see that? You know, did you see something?" And before I could even say it, he would say, "Yeah, I saw it." He called me Bae. "Yeah, I saw it, Bae. I saw it. I knew I was fit to be an analyst," but he would tell me, "Okay, Mykell, okay," and be ready to hang up the phone on me. You know, he ironed my knife. He chopped my scales. When I was a little girl, he used to make me read the sports section. He used to make me read it. I used to hate it. Like, shout out to Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon, because you know, if you grew up in the nation's capital, you know what their articles meant to the Post, and grew up to people like us. He used to tell me, you have to know everything, because he already knew that I had to know everything. I mean, we go back into the conversation of being a female, you want to do sports, and then I'm a Black woman. He knew what I would have to do. He was very encouraging of my career. He was just encouraging of me, and it's been very. If anybody has, I mean, I wouldn't wish losing a parent on anybody. On my worst enemy, and with or without the fact that we know that we're supposed to do that, but all I can, as long as I'm breathing, he's still alive, and that's what I continue.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, definitely sorry for your loss as well. And I definitely can relate. You know, losing my dad probably about 10 years ago now, and I know if he was here, I could, you know, he'd be like, "Yo, what them Commanders doing?" Or like, "Hey, what's going on?" So definitely understand that as well.
Yeah.
Cole, what you got?
All right, so I just want to get into like the day-to-day and process of like what you used to go through. I know you talked a little bit about like putting clips together, but what's like typical like checklist look like for you, like in a daily routine?
This is Mykell Ramos. This is the logo.
Oh, that's dope.
All right.
And it was very interesting because so when he passed away, to go back to that story, when we went to clean his house, he had a binder with old clippings of his playing days, his team. He played for Tom Penders. So his high school team went 22 straight. They lost their first game of the season, went 22 straight to the chip and lost. That's a story that I want to tell. It's 55th anniversary of that championship game this year. And he had a whole binder of the clippings that his teammates sent him, and my picture was in it. So if you believe in destiny and all that extra stuff, then yeah, I guess I was supposed to have that. The day-to-day. Okay, so they want the best footage. So if you're going to go for the best footage, I could be scrubbed. Like, for example, they want Jaden Daniels get hurt. So they want different angles in that one VO that may be 20 seconds of how he got hurt. So you may have to go and you may have to go onto ESPN.com, go to the play-by-play, look for that 1st and 10 with goal line where he was at, and then you scrub through footage. It's called melt footage. If you watch NFL films, you've seen a lot of melt footage because they send it to us a lot. So it's that slow motion film where you can see it from the ground up with the feet moving and it coming up. So you could start with, and that's called a close-up. So you could start with a close-up of that. Then you can get a bigger. Then you might be able to take something from the game of the actual of when he falls, and then you can take some of the replays. And it's all about getting the best footage, because what's gonna meet the eye is gonna meet the eye. Because that moment where somebody hurts a knee and you're like, damn, you know, and you can actually see it. So it's going in, and we have morning meetings where NFL Live I thought was very cool, because we literally have every show has a morning meeting, but NFL Live, you could manifest and see what you say come to air, and they'll take it and they'll make you cut it. So you could say, for example, you know, we talk about how much Terry McLaurin means to the Commanders and his tenure there, but let's talk about Zach Ertz and his ability to come. He didn't know what he was getting into coming into a season where it's a new head coach, new management. He's coming off an injury. He's a Super Bowl champion. He went to Arizona. That didn't work out. So he's resurrecting his career. A lot of people will say it was over. And look what he's been able to do in DC. So I say all that and I pitch it. And then a researcher might say, yeah, Zach Ertz and Jaden Daniels among tight ends to quarterbacks, they rank such and such in this and that. And that might be a topic. You might see that's a topic. The next thing you know, I'm cutting Zach Ertz footage, or I might get a stamp to start the show where I'm talking about his progression from Arizona down. So, and I thought, me personally, because as you can see, I love to conversate here. If
We
I
love
had
it.
a good morning meeting, I had one hell of a day cutting, The beauty of it, though, at ESPN, they ask you who you like. They ask you where you're from. They ask you your team. So if they know you love football, they know you like the Commanders, they know they'll let you cut Commander stuff, I always tried to bridge the gap between, especially on Sports Center, which is more of this is a social media driven world. I tried to bridge the gap between what was going on in the world and what we were shooting, because these kids are going to turn on Sports Center. And it's crazy at 37, I'm saying these kids, but they are going to turn on Sports Center. So it's one thing for Angel Reese to making her debut in the league, but we can show Lotto getting on a plane saying she's going to see her, and then we can show them actually embracing, and then we can get into her highlight of her first game in the season. So those are the things that I tried to propel forward, because I don't believe that sports and society don't go hand in hand. They really do.
Yeah.
So when you are doing your daily, day-to-day activities and preparation, what's the most stressful part? You talked about you have to go through all the footage immediately. If you have a certain thing in mind, is it stressful if you're not able to quite dial in exactly what you're trying to look for? Do you kind of have to scramble just to get something together?
Are we talking about for my show, for ESPN, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you're only as good as the people next to you. Teamwork, something I might have missed, or somebody might have the clip that I need from something they cut. Or I mean, I've scrubbed through melt footage over and over and over again, and I'll tell a producer, hey, I didn't see it. I can't find it. They'll confirm. But you're also there to please everybody. You got a content producer, you got an associate producer, you got the main producer, you got everybody that wants something to look that way. And you got to get it done. And I think that's if there's anything I learned about ESPN, it's about going perfection in a good way and perfection in a bad way, because perfection can drive you crazy. But when you're putting something together and you guys, because it drives you crazy to the point where you're trying to please everybody and you're realizing there's no way hell you're gonna please everybody. But you do your best to do that, and because what one producer might see, another producer might not see. What one producer likes, the other one might like. So, but they're going through the rundown as they're building it, as they're doing it, seeing what you're putting in there, seeing what you're doing, and if they don't like something, they'll try to tell you to fix it in time. And there's a PA will go during the show to cut something during. It's called one play, where you cut something during the show. Like it might be breaking news, and hey, Brock Purdy is back tonight, and that might be the end of the show. We need a Brock Purdy VO real quick, So it's but
I'm gonna twist that back and so as far as the podcast aspect, we new to the game. You've been doing this for so long, over 8 years. If you're running late or kind of scrambling to kind of put something together for your podcast, how stressful can that be, as far as kind of making sure you get prepared and everything right for an episode?
I think it's a different kind of pressure, because this is my baby. This is mine. This has my name on it. And I'm not saying that I wasn't appreciative of any of the work that I've done in other entities. But when you are able to show up as yourself, and people, I stopped doing Rolling with Ramos when I went to ESPN. I didn't do it for 2 years. And then when I left, I bought it back. And people were receptive to me bringing it back. They were looking for it. And it gave me so much confidence, because it let me know that I still have a voice. So when you're wearing that on you, and back to the conversation we had earlier, when you're wearing legacy on you, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing it for somebody else. And sometimes that could drive you crazy because you're really doing it for you. But but keeping going is also keeping going for, you know, so it works hard. So I would say never have a concrete rundown in mind, because I could say, if the only one, okay, so say we're going to do the show. If we did the show yesterday, I had to go to work, so I couldn't do the show. So say I was going to do the show yesterday. I know I'm bad. I'm talking about Monday night. I know I'm going to go through the games of Sunday night. I'm going to go through Monday night. But then as I'm writing, because I normally take the day off, I you know, I write the whole show. So I normally take the day off. I go in, find articles, find, you know, research and things of that nature. And next thing you know, Jalen Hurts retired. And you're like, oh, that just scrapped the whole show.
Right.
Because now at the top of the show, not even that, it's like trying to keep in abreast the news of the day while knowing that you got to go back, because and finding ways to intertwine that. And the more you write and the more your hand hurt, the next thing you know, you look up, I could start writing at 11, 12 o'clock. You look up, it's already 6, 7 o'clock.
That sun coming out.
and we got to do this. So,
yeah,
you know, but I do my best to be as informative as possible, be serious when I need to. You know, I feel like I'm brash, I'm in your face, I'm honest, I'm funny. And I feel like it's relatable. When you approach content for the show, I tell people those same conversations that you have with your friends who needed more Shaq or Kobe, and you're on the couch. I did that. I think so much in broadcasting, we put a mic up to these athletes and they tell us to be professional, which you have to be professional. But I can't forget while I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this because I love the game. Like, we can get off this conversation now, and if it was Wednesday night football, I'm gonna turn it on like it ain't like I forgot we just did this. You know, I would get off work at ESPN and turn on the game and forget the 4 letters is where I'm coming from. You know, and because you love what you do, and you love not even what you love what you do. You love sports is me. That's what I love to do as Mykell, and then I just happen to do it for a living and make money off of it. Like, you can't get any sweeter than that. So, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, that was good. And you talked about like how you have to be yourself, and that's kind of how our podcast came together. You know, like, you know, especially during football season, like the Commanders are doing something, the Browns are doing something. Like, hey, did you see that? And you just, you know, and you're going back and forth all day just talking about it. Like, so, like, why not just get together? Like, we're going to be talking about it anyway. Yeah. Why don't we try to make content out of it, get other people involved, and because it's fun. This is what we enjoy doing. Like, we'd probably be talking about the Cavs game or the Wizards game right now if we were.
Sadly,
if we
the Wizards, but
right
When I started in 2018, podcasts weren't that big yet, and people say, "Well, how did you do it? How do you do it?" I didn't have StreamYard. We didn't have all these tripods that you can get online now. I had my phone, a book, and I was holding it on, and I was holding the phone. The book was holding the phone. I was working at Morgan at the time, and my co-host would drive up to Morgan, and because I was working there, they would let us use the radio station as the ambiance. It was that simple. Then we would go on live on Facebook Live. And when they used to let you have people join you, Santana Moss joined the show. So, like, it grew that way. And then we eventually was like, oh, we can do this from YouTube channel. We can do this from this. We can do this for that. And now you're looking at a world where I want Carmelo on my show, but I'm also competing with 7 p.m. in Brooklyn.
That's true. Yeah.
Which is a good show. You know, and they have an insight we don't have, because they can talk about nostalgia and they can talk real life. So, you know,
and speaking about your co-host, Tristan, how did y'all come together, put that together? You know, y'all be tag team duo. You know, how did y'all come together on and form that bond?
Tristan's really the star. He's the one that you're coming to watch. Okay. And Well, I was hosting a show called The Flex Zone with a group of friends of mine, and we took a break. I don't know what happened. They were with Fox 1540 AM Hopewell. That's where they would air the shows from, and they took a break. I don't know what happened. Fox was doing making some changes, and during that break, I just said, I'm ready to do my own thing. So my first two co-hosts weren't Tristan. I really started the show, and a friend of mine, I was working at the Four Seasons in Baltimore. He had equipment, radio equipment, and I was recording out of his house every Tuesday. And then that fell off. And then once I really said that I'm gonna take this, and this is what I'm gonna do, and a word we can't use on national television. Tristan had been on the Flex Zone before, and I just hit Tristan up. I said, hey, I would love if you would do this with me. I love your knowledge. You're my friend. And he did what any self-respecting man would do first. Call his wife. His lovely wife, and he said, hey, I want to do this. They worked it out before they had their daughter. They worked it out, and I couldn't thank Tristan enough.
That's great.
We finished each other's sentences. We're in the same.
Join at the hip.
Yes, in this life we are.
You want me to jump in, Cole?
Yeah, she pretty much answered that last question I was going to have about like something going wrong or like, having to adjust on the fly. So yeah, you pretty much had that covered. So I just wanted to dive into a little bit of day to day and the process and get into your routine. And that was pretty cool to hear all that, because I mean, we don't know anything about that. So anything you share is all new to us, and it's really cool what you all have, like what you have done and what you continue to do. So
I will add this: when you invest in your day to day. I'm already now trying to figure out how I'm gonna buy a new tripod, how I'm going to, I'm back home. I'm being back home in the city, back home DC, back to DMV has invigorated me more. Looking for a sponsor. I mean, I work in Union Market. Who knows who I can find to sponsor me? These sweatshirts, these tees I used to sell, I still have the prints. And, I let somebody get in my head and say, hey, nobody's going to pay so much attention to that because your dad is on there. It's going to be more to you than more than anybody else. But there's no way you can't tell me this isn't cool.
I think it's really cool.
You can tell me this isn't cool. You got a picture of your own father with a basketball in his hand. It's called Rolling with Ramos, and he's wearing the number of the guy that you love. I didn't know my dad wore 24. Kobe wore 24. So I was working at Forever 21 before they all closed down, and I remember wearing these, and people would say, and somebody would ask me, where is this in the store? And I was like, no. And so, and then it was like, wow, this light bulb. So listening to people is listening to people. When you gotta listen to people, listen to people. You know what I'm saying? Right. Especially in this business, because you just want to be a sponge. But invest. Take it $20, $25 for StreamYard, because they're taking your money big time, okay? But save it up. Save it up, man. Put it to the side,
Yep, for sure.
Your appearance, how you listen to people, how you invite them to be on the show with the comments and things of that nature. Like truly invest in the product. If there's anything that I've learned over the course of the time in my travels, is nobody's going to invest in you like you. And don't get discouraged, because what I want to push forward here as we're having this conversation is, y'all are my podcast brothers. We're in this together. So you post a picture, you get 5 likes. You're like, damn. But 340 people listen to it.
Right.
Might be a win in that, It sucks because you're looking at other people, people are just commenting and liking their stuff, and you're like, okay. And I know for me, I have this pressure to keep content going. Like I gotta say something. Sometimes you don't, just, invest in yourself, take it easy, take your time,
Yep. I got some lighthearted couple questions. So
Woo!
what is the funniest or weirdest thing that's happened to you during a recording? So that could be, either a taping at ESPN or NBC Sports, or during your podcast. What's the funniest or weirdest thing that kind of happened during a recording?
The funniest and weirdest thing. Okay, I'll do. Okay, so when I used to work sideline, I actually had a chance. I'll give you two examples. One when I'm doing something technical, and one when I'm doing myself. When I was, I got a chance to shadow Lisa Salters one time, and it's Monday Night Football. It's Cowboys versus Commanders. It was crazy. I literally lived right a corner from the stadium at the time. I was in Baltimore at the time. So they tell you to move out the way. When they're running to them sidelines, they tell you to move the hell out the way, right? Get the hell out of there. And we're in the game. I'm like, okay, I'll get out the way. But you're not realizing how much you got to get the hell out the way. So Des Bryant has the ball. He's a Cowboy at the time, and he's beelining to the sideline. And they're like, move. And I just managed to get out the way. And I know I was supposed to be like, come on, get out of the way. What are you doing? You got to protect yourself. But in my head, all I kept thinking was, this would have been cool. Like, I would have been creamed by Des Bryant.
we could have probably pulled that clip up right now. If
I know, right? Got to search for that one.
Moment. I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
All of America would have been wondering, is the girl on the sideline okay? That was fun too, because I got a chance to. Jason Witten was doing an interview, and I had to hold up the lights, and my hands were shaking. It was crazy. Other funny things that have happened. Knowing that everybody in your house knows you do a show, and they still want to come talk to you while you're doing the show, so you're arguing and doing this while you're up there. Oh, and every now and then my cat Charlie will make an appearance. I was doing, and Jamel Hill was on my New Year's show a couple years back, and dummy, I put my phone on my radiator. I should have put it on the book on my radiator. It heated up, went off.
Wow.
And I had to get back on the show. That sucked.
So
Kristen had to do about 5-10 minutes of the show before I was able to come back on. So I don't recommend that.
Yeah. Definitely a lesson learned. That's crazy. Let me see. Shoot. Okay. So from a production standpoint, what makes for a great sports debate segment? And that could be either ESPN or your podcast. What do you think goes into a good sports debate?
I think I'm gonna take it from my angle. What goes into a sports debate is everybody just respecting each other's opinions. I think we get so caught up in trying to be right all the time.
Right.
I mean, what might shake for me might not shake for you. You know what I'm saying? Or we might just come together and be kumbaya one night. You never know. But we've gotten so caught up in being viral and satire and saying stuff that ain't true and just saying one-liners that's just supposed to hit. You don't get no respect unless it's valuable and it's valuable content. And I just think that's what I always try to remember, whether I'm on here yelling to my top of my lungs, which I don't do, but if I'm really stressing something or somebody else is stressing something, that we just remember to stay factual, keep it consistent. And if you are going to say something wild, make sure your facts behind that wildness is wild with it, you know? Just don't be such and such and such and such. Why? Just cause what? Like, don't just stop there at that, because you're really not gonna have nobody wanting to listen to you. So just staying factual, staying respecting, and just sticking behind what you say.
And speaking of that, so what are some sports stories that you personally love to talk about?
I'm a it's weird because I thought I was a Lakers. I am a Lakers fan. I'm a Lakers fan. I don't think anybody could have wore that jersey and done what they've done with it like LeBron, because it takes a lot to put on a Lakers jersey. It's so much that comes with it. But I don't know if you guys remember that player spotlight with Kobe and Shaq, and they got a chance to sit and talk. And I'm watching that, and I'm thinking nostalgia. I'm thinking, because I used to argue people down. You're not a real Laker fan. And I used to like Glenn Rice. I used to love Rick Fox. I used to love Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom, the Lakers didn't treat you right. Lamar Odom, freaking I used to love
Robert
Derek
Horry
Fisher, Robert Horry. I used to love all the parts, the movie, Paul Gasol. I used to love all the moving parts of the Lakers. But I did come to realize that, I think when they left, I might have left. So you'll always catch me having a conversation. You always catch me talking about Kobe. You always catch me talking about who needed more Shaq or Kobe. You'll always catch me talking about Albert Ainsworth. I don't know what the hell that was. You'll always catch me talking about
that triangle offense.
Yeah, y'all. If I ever the Wizards front office sometimes are interns, I'll never forgive them for what they did to John Wall. So if I ever catch Ted Leonis,
I know,
just like the great Kings of Comedy said, Bernie Mac, it was gonna be a misunderstanding, because what you mean? What you mean?
I always wish they would bring him back. Like, even after he left, I was just hoping that they would just bring him back, because we definitely needed a point guard after he left.
No, the issue is you invested in Bradley Beal, and Bradley Beal has always been a number 2. And you thought because he had that good year when John Wall went down that this is the guy you were going to build around. No, Bradley Beal don't bring stars to DC. John Wall does. And you just, it's not his fault you paid him $180 million and he messed up his Achilles.
Right.
But you also didn't allow them to have a backcourt true to health. So that's a combustion, okay?
Yeah, we could definitely dive into that.
Yes, so many things. You'll always catch me talking about that. A lot of Eagle fans probably don't like me because, I mean, respectfully, I don't care what you say about last year. We talked all that junk. Respectfully, you still were supposed to win that game with Mariota. Mariota threw the game-winning touchdown in Devontae Smith's hands. He dropped it. Your defense gave up what it gave up. So stop crying. And that's 55 points. Yeah, that was rough. You did that. That's great. But
we don't like them either.
3 turnovers. You can't turn over a ball against Philly. Just remember what the score was before halftime and the 3 turnovers, okay?
Right.
But congratulations.
So to finish up, is there any dream guest that you would love to have on your show? And who would it be?
All of them. I mean, at this
because you had some great people on your show and doing interviews with. So
I just want to continue. This is my baby. This is my heart. If there's anything, I may not be working for whoever. If there's anything that I can continue to be intentional with, it's what's mine. And I just been trying to push forward to continue to get that great quality guest content. And make and you know, these athletes put their emails in their bios now if you're trying to get to them. So I guess I want all of them, but I guess if I could think of who I would love to talk to coming up, if God can make that happen, because it will. I would love to talk to Lamar Jackson. I would love to talk to Carmelo. Again, Carmelo Anthony has my whole career. He's been a part of something triumphant in my career, and he hasn't probably even paid it any mind. The first athlete that I interviewed was Carmelo Anthony. He said to me, and I said to him, first of all, let's go back. I was working at the Hilton Baltimore, and I delivered food to him. And I told him this room service. I said, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay, keep at it. Then I go and I interview him for the Charm City Classic. He might have been lying. If you was, Mello, thank you. I don't know if you remember me. I delivered to you here, blah, 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 blah. He was like, look at you now. I did a TBT tournament he had in Baltimore. So everything that, and I was able to interview him there. So everything that's been triumphant in my career has been at the hands of holding a mic to Carmelo Anthony. So only top tier part would be having him on the show. If I had Roland, I interviewed Kobe Bryant. I don't know if you guys knew that, but no, I didn't say that.
I didn't know that. How was that?
So I used to cover for CTV. When I used to cover the Wizards were playing the Lakers on what would be Kobe's last Easter game. And I paid my own money, went to LA, and I actually sat next to Ramona Shelburne. And did the interview with Kobe. And it's crazy because when I'm doing the interview, I'm kneeling down because everybody's trying to position. And then this tall guy walks by and everybody parts like the Red Sea. And the last thing he was getting on the elevator. And I remember saying to him, I said, "Hey, Kobe, I read in an article that people think it's crazy that you don't pump your own gas." And he said, "I know, right? And if I know what I know now, and if I had what I had now, oh man, that would have been Kobe. My guy. Please be on the show." I would love to talk to, in building relationships at ESPN. One of the guys, speaking of the Eagles, one of the guys I love talking to in the hallway was Kevin Nagandi. Kevin Nagandi, he's great. I would love to have Kevin Nagandi on, and I want them all, but
yeah,
I guess to answer your question, it would be Kobe. But hindsight is 2020. 2020 was just an awful year. Once he died, and it just went down. So, so I would say that. But come on, come y'all. I want to talk to everybody.
And definitely congrats on the 150th episode of Rolling.
All right.
Big ups. Congratulations on that. And we do appreciate you coming on today.
We do,
yeah, this was like a very big for us. We definitely wanted to dive into, the production side, but also your longevity with your show as well. So we definitely appreciate you chalking it up with us, talking with us. We definitely appreciate it. If you do have time, I did want to dive into some games from this last Sunday. Sure. We had some wild finishes this past week, so I wanted to dive into those really quick.
Sure.
See if we could pull it.
Ooh, I'll let you guys handle that one.
Do we have to? So Commanders were in Dallas this past Sunday. Didn't really expect much from this game. We still dealing with a lot of injuries on our side. Cowboys was getting everybody back. CD Lamb. They had Turbin coming back. And this game kind of, played out how we thought. Jaden Daniels had that nasty injury. We thought, it was more severe than what it actually was. But offense didn't do anything. Defense continues to be terrible. And Dallas just did whatever they wanted with us. What was y'all thoughts on this game? I'm going to start with Mykell. How did you see this game playing out?
Well, I'm a scale bigger picture, okay? Everybody talked about last year because we hadn't seen that in so long. We, as fans, were so ready to see, because you don't know pain until you've loved the Washington Commanders, the Redskins, and the Washington football team, all three of them. You don't know pain until you love them. But at the same time, last year was just so magical, and the Hail Mary and everything just fell. People got to remember, we're ahead of a rebuild that was not supposed, last year was not supposed to happen. So realistically speaking, we're ahead of where we're supposed to be, to the point where now you're getting guys like Von Miller. You're getting guys like Tunsil. You're getting guys like Debo. They don't want to come to DC 2 years ago. They don't want to come here. The defense last year was not good. It was not good. Let's be real. It was not good. It sustained. You had Louvu, you had Payne, you had Armstrong, you had these dogs, you had these guys that just knew how to play their part. Dan Quinn is a defensive-minded coach, and you found a defensive-minded coach so invested in banking into his offense more in his defense. That's why we went for more on fourth down, that more than a lot, and we were good with that. But you also saw that the offense was healthy. Everybody could play. Everybody was there. Everybody was good to go. So you had this offense that was potent, that was able to hide the cracks and the seams in the defense. We already knew that was there. Lattimore, in some regression, years ago was a shutdown corner. We're not seeing that here in DC. So now the offseason, and I like Adam Peters, but I feel like he reached into his Philadelphia bag this offseason. He did some things right and he did some things wrong, which means he went to his Philadelphia bag a little bit. I understand that Terry McLaurin is 30 years old, but it's not his fault that he had to wait until he was 30 in this league for the team to be good. This man has had 11, 12 different quarterbacks. What was the middle ground between restitution and a guy that's never injured? Restitution, never injured, always ready, which we already owned him in the market-based price. I think not getting that deal done with Terry caused a lot of issues early. Not getting it done earlier caused a lot of issues, because now you got Terry McLaurin just getting back at the end of training camp that he has no sync with Jaden like how he had it. And then he hurts himself because he's not in football shape. Debo. We know Debo can have an up and down, but we still try to figure out how to play him. And then Noah Brown is gone. So you have no receiving core that Jaden's used to. And you're basically, if we're looking up 95, Lamar Jackson has to play hero ball for it to happen. He can't play defense. And then now he's getting the brunt of those injuries. So Dallas got Turpin back. They got CeeDee Lamb back, but you play Jaden in the what ifs. You played guys that weren't used to having to get open. Zach Ertz was the only positive thing there. We saw what happened last year. Like, people got so caught up in last year that we got to remember we're ahead on this rebuild. Not to mention we got this whole game stretch. We got 5 games to do. Maybe we can come out of it 2-2. But but if we leave this year not making the playoffs, you still see what can happen when we're healthy, and now you know the pieces to put in. And people got to think too, there's a difference between saying these are the same trash Commanders outside of saying, damn, we thought this was going to be another good year. People are shocked at what is going on because they're so used, because now they're looking at a product that they believe in. That's beautiful. But we're also in a league where now you're like, we're October, we're in week 7, week 8. There is no front runner in this league right now. There's nobody that you could legitimately say is going to take home the trophy. It's going to come down to who could get healthier more towards the end and who's going to be more on a run. Don't count us out yet. And if you count us out, all you fans, just relax and realize last year was last year. God showed you something. This year, we've had injuries. It's not like the play's been bad. It's been injuries. Should have beat the Bears. But relax.
Yeah, like you said, we
have that. Because they're going to play with the same people, and guess what they're going to probably do next week? Lose.
I hope so. I mean, they are playing the Broncos, so we'll see. But I think it's a couple things. I had to talk myself off the ledge because, I mean, a lot. Brother. Yeah, I know, right? A lot. I mean, the defense is putrid. And we lost 3 edge rushers to season-ending injuries, probably 4 now. But we keep losing. Out. Yeah, so we can't even put pressure on any quarterback. We're playing Mahomes this week. Good luck with that. But I think now it's starting to come into question Adam Peters and all of his decision-making. He's the one making these draft picks. What have they done? I mean, we have seen McCaffrey make some plays, Jalen Lane return a kick return or 2, but they're not really – a lot of his draft picks, Sammer still, he had a regression from last season. We haven't been sent it. We probably got to put him on the back of a milk carton. I haven't seen him except for some blocking.
I'm gonna disagree with you there because only thing Sammer still, because he was so good last year. Now teams are expecting him to he's a roamer, but now they're putting him. It's either give the best wide receiver to Lattimore, or Sammer still who has to take care of it. So now he's on the best wide receiver. That's not his total game. That Bears game, you talk about Lane, you talk about Bill, you talk about outside of the fumbles, you talk about Bill. it was so good. And Tristan said this to me. It was so good to see that even though we don't have our top guys, we were still producing with those guys. It's just that all Dallas had to do was play man against guys that are used to chosen we ain't seen since Carolina, against guys that haven't had the ball in a while. But Lane is beautiful. McCaffrey is wonderful. Bill is wonderful. That Bears game showed that. It's just, where can you find give confidence in these guys to say, hey, for the next 3 or 4, this is y'all. Y'all got to hold down the fort. And how can Dan Quinn do that? Cliff Kingsbury, what can you comprise? Because now people are used to seeing the product you got. You haven't had the chance to, like, people forget, Jaden had his first interception this whole season. He was out 2 games. Like, you're saying he's regressed? He hasn't even really played. So,
yeah. Well, even I know we want to speak highly of Jaden. It's a lot of games, including this past Dallas game. He has open receivers underneath. He's not throwing it to him. There was a couple plays that McCaffrey was wide open. He just didn't even. He looked at him and looked the other way. It's a lot of plays where, you know, he's relying more on his legs, which is why he's being more injured this year. But it's some plays where, if you look back, receivers are running open, and for some reason he's just not throwing them the ball.
How did that offensive line look though? Did he feel like he had time?
It was looking good.
Okay.
It was looking good. I'm not even going to blame it on the O-line.
I didn't see that he could get a full throw. I mean,
yeah, because
this is his second year.
Yeah, he's good for me. He's no complaints from me. I know he's in the second year. We can't expect him to be on the Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. You know, let him cook. Let him. You know, but I think if the team continues to go on the path that they're on, I think we do need to look at Adam Peters, how he handled Terry, not getting that done. He should have had foresight to see, hey, I need to get Terry deal done sooner, so that, Jaden can, link up with him. He is getting older. All right, let him already kind of be accustomed, so he doesn't have these injuries that we're seeing now with him, joining the team late. So if the team continues to go down, Adam Peters, I know we want to hype him up too, but he got some questionable decisions.
He got in his Philly bag. Plus, you got to also think in terms of Terry has played in all these different tenures of this team, the Dan Snyder era. He has gone through the trenches, and he's been a true professional. He never complained. He never went and been a divo when he could have. And that was the first time in the offseason you've seen him say something. And if there has to be some type, the nucleus if you're coming off the season we had last year, you could tell that nucleus was tight. Everybody was believing. It had to been destroyed a little bit, because if I'm in that locker room, I don't know about you, Mike, but if I'm in that locker room saying, if they're not going to pay Terry, out of all people.
That's what I'm saying.
If they're hemming and hawing, if they're hemming and hawing and going back and forth about what they're doing with Terry, then I'm not going to get nothing. How am I supposed to feel about that? You know?
Yeah.
So,
and I know, and we don't got to stay on it, because I know we could go all night on this next topic.
This is a conversation for a drink.
Right, but Marshawn, I don't think it was all his fault. It's a lot of passes this season where he's right on the receiver. He's still getting all the blame because, the receiver still ends up with the catch. But sometimes he's glued on a receiver and it just still drops in the bucket. But I don't think he deserves all of the criticism that he's been receiving.
No, he doesn't, because he's not the only one in that secondary that's giving up the big play. I mean, if you look back at that Bears game, we don't even get to Jaden Daniels fumbling if Quan Martin gets that tackle right in the middle. If you stop him right there, the possession's ours. All we gotta do is run the clock out. This game is ours. That Lattimore, that Lattimore throw when he got caught up, it was the angle. You got two guys running into each other in the secondary. Like, it looks uncouth, unkept. That's a word, right? It looks uncouth. It looks unkept.
We're going to make it one if it's not.
It works here.
It looks like y'all, it looks like you ever seen somebody get dressed and they come and you wasn't with them, and then they come to
Mhm.
the bar, and you like, well, did you really want to come? Because
Mhm.
what did you put on?
Right,
That's how
right, right.
that's how we looking like over there a little bit.
Mhm.
But
And
I
Whit
still
probably
believe.
need to dumb it down a little bit.
I still
Maybe.
believe, and I still believe, even if this season doesn't pan out to what our eyes saw last year, you see what the capabilities can be when done right. And
Yeah.
like I said, not signing Terry, you get no gelling. You don't know how to use Debo. He doesn't get a chance to play with Terry on the camp to see how he likes to do things. And Noah Brown is just gone.
Mhm.
So is Zach Ertz fighting for it? Zach Ertz is an old man.
Right.
So
Yep.
there's no we're not looking over there and looking at Kansas City where it's next man up. We don't have that roster yet,
Mhm.
So it's okay.
All right. Yeah,
It's
no,
okay.
it's gonna be all right.
It's okay. We
Getting
don't need a seance.
I know, right? Hey, I don't have any expectations for this week, so I think I'm good this week.
Yeah, just let it be.
Next, getting into the all right, now we can bring you into the picture. We got the beat down of the Dolphins. Browns kind of crushed the Dolphins 31-6. Tua, I don't know. Dolphins have a lot of questions right now. It look like they need to
Yeah,
make a lot of changes, which they said that they don't want to do right now.
which is
But
crazy.
yeah, and it looked like the Browns, did enough to win this one.
Yeah, I think what Washington needs to do to start winning games is somehow pencil in the Dolphins and let that defense go
We do
against.
have them actually.
It's coming up.
Oh, okay. Hey,
It's the
That's what
last
we're gonna
game
get right.
of that 5-game stretch.
okay.
We need that one.
Yeah, so you guys will get a taste of Tua turn the ball over, and no, this was. I've been kind of like shitting on Kevin Stefanski all year. I don't really like his play calling, but you look at the. It was raining. We had wind gusts up to 50, 60. I was talking to a couple people up at the game, and they said you like TV wasn't doing the wind justice. Like you were in the bleachers, like literally blowing back. And so for Dylan Gabriel just to go 13 of 18 for 116 yards, rookie quarterback, that was the perfect game plan. You look at Judkins, 25 carries, 84 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like there was people upset saying like, well, he needs to air the ball out more. Tua aired the ball out more. He had 3 interceptions. So every year this happens. Kevin Stefanski gets close to being fired. we win a game, not be like obviously defense played a big part of it. The run game was a big part of it, but he is saved for another week. We head to New England coming up, so I don't know.
I will say this: it's payback for the Dolphins because Tua decided. First of all, the man don't even talk. So you decided that you was going to go on the media and you was going to blame McDaniels. You was going to blame. You lucky it wasn't Friday Night Lights out there and they just moved the hell out the way and just let your behind get snacked. You decided that you were going to go against your team. I'm sorry. Against your team and say what you had to say. First of all, and I said this on our show, I said, first of all, people were telling you to retire. People were calling for you to make a decision about your life, not just about being a football player, but about your life, because they thought that your body couldn't handle another hit like that. Last time we saw you was fighting for your life, trying to even stand. But guess what your teammate, you said you wanted to continue to play, and guess what your teammates said? Nothing. They stood behind you. They let everybody say what they want to say. McDaniels kept saying, that's our guy, that's our quarterback. And you decided that you were going to make those comments? Yeah. You were the last one that could make some comments like that.
Yeah, he, go ahead.
And shortly after that, I don't know who it was. It was a former teammate of Tua's. They said like when he was there his rookie year or second year or something, he was showing up to meetings late all the time. So it was definitely like he was like he said what he said. You know, they've had a bajillion players only meetings and whatnot, but the fact that, you know, Mike McDaniel still has a job. And then his post-game presser, they said, what's your expectations out of the offense next week? He said, I'd like to not throw 10 picks. Like, that is a wild answer.
Everybody's throwing each other under the bus at this point.
Like, McDaniels doesn't have control over that locker room anymore.
Oh, no.
But he's always been wild and crazy and quirky with the things that he's saying. And after a while, and all that is good and well when you're winning. When you got the cheetah, when you got Waddle doing him, it's all good. It's all fine and dandy when your ass winning. And then you find out who these people really are. And Miami hasn't been. I mean, if you look at a couple of years ago, this is a team that everybody would expect to go to the Super Bowl every once in a while. Like, and they are not that anymore. I guess it's time to blow it. I don't know, to blow it all up, but
yes,
it's got to be close.
It's definitely time. I mean, we spoke about that recently. I mean, they're doing everything you should do to force a blow up. I mean,
we have this conversation every year being Browns fans. Every year it's like, just blow it up. Like, it's not getting any worse. But
the coach lost the locker room. Tua has lost respect from his players. You know, calling players out. You know, you need to keep all that in house. He putting it out there in the media. I'm sure the players don't respect him as much. So I mean, in order for them to correct it, they need to make it clean.
Yeah,
everybody.
I did a stat our last show that was very interesting. The Browns are currently paying 9 different quarterbacks.
I can name them all,
active and non-active, right now.
Well, hopefully one of them pan out. You know, I'm sure we'll see another
James
rookie
Winston soon. Rubbing his hands together like Birdman.
Who we got Watson, Winston, Flacco, Shador, Gabriel, Kenny Pickett. Who were like, there was some, like, I forgot about them. Like, they weren't even like really here. But
Rippin or something. No, that was
MPT. What's his name? MPT, MTP.
DTR and
DTR,
Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, Zappi.
Like, what are we doing over here?
One got to pan out. But yeah, Dolphins are a mess. Good win for the Browns.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, they needed that one for sure.
Drake, elevate. Elevate.
All
y'all do with him next week. That boy's you ain't seen New England is popping in a while.
Hey, yeah, he's
boy's balling.
He's next level.
He was. We'll shut him down.
I want y'all to call me when you recap your next episode.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We definitely gonna clip that. So next we had the Falcons playing the 49ers. This one, I thought the Falcons was gonna have a better showing with Brian Robinson. I know the game prior he dominated, had almost 200 yards of total offense, but in this game they kind of slowed him down. Slowed down, but still almost 100 yards of total offense. But even with all the injuries, 49ers was able to get this win, and they improved to 5-2.
Hey, look, you can say you want to talk about injuries. There's nobody that wears injuries like a badge of honor than the San Francisco 49ers. And y'all better, and they do it so well that they know they're going to be so injury prone, and they still hang in there. And now you looking and watching these fools get healthy. And next thing you know, they're back in another Super Bowl conversation. They're back in the Super Bowl. So beware of the 49ers. Hopefully Brock can come back healthy. It was nice to see Kittle back out there. McCaffrey looks good. I don't know who the hell the Falcons are. Every week it switches. 1 minute they look. I mean, they were desperate when they played us, so they needed that win. So 1 minute they look like they're going in the right direction. 1 minute they look like they're not. 1 minute Michael Penix Jr. looks like he's doing the damn thing as far as his progression at the quarterback position. One thing I will say, y'all kept saying a year ago that Bijan shouldn't have been drafted that high, blah, blah, blah. They taking it back to the old school. They running on this man back. So y'all gotta give him more credit than what you're giving him.
Mhm.
He's an actor. He was on the Outer Banks. Like, this man is doing it.
Yeah.
But
I
who the
think
hell are the Falcons? Who the hell are they?
even though McCaffrey had a good game, I still think Bijan is probably the best running back in the league.
Oh,
in my
hands
opinion.
down. Hands
Yeah.
down. You're
How'd you see this
you're
one,
talking
Kobe?
about a guy that can block. You're talking about a guy, he does so much for that team.
Mhm.
Just running the ball.
Yeah, these new hybrid running backs being able to over the last couple games, Bijan had it last week, McCaffrey had it, Jahmyr Gibbs just had it last night. These running backs are totaling over 200 yards of total offense. We're catching and running. I haven't really seen stuff like this before. You had pass catching running backs that would get you 4 or 5 catches, maybe 40, 50, 60 yards. But these do it all backs right now are popping up all over the place, and they are the main offense threat.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because you're not that far removed from a conversation where they weren't even trying to pay running backs.
Yep.
They did not want to pay Saquon. They did not want to pay Austin Eckler. They were not trying to pay these guys. And
now they're about to get that bag. Yeah, definitely. It's returning. The running backs are returning with a vengeance now. But next we can get into one of the Monday night games. We had Texans at Seahawks. Seahawks was able to pull this one out 27-19.
Fight.
Texans, I'm just surprised at them this year. Everybody thought they was going to run away with that division. But so far they're kind of like a shell of themselves. I'm not sure. They thought it was the offensive coordinator last season, got rid of him. Offense doesn't seem to have improved at all since last season. That defense is shaky as well. And I mean, now you have the Seahawks. I mean, they bring Sam Darnold in there, and he's just slowly bringing him along for a playoff push. So, and Jigba, he's arguably one of the best wide receivers in the league. So, this was a good game though, but I expected more from the Texans.
One of the first things big montages that I did do for ESPN, it was a draft montage for Will Anderson Jr. So if I ever get a chance to meet him, we grew up together, okay? And Jackson Smith and Jigba, he was in that draft class. It was all that going on. But again, we're going through these lineups, we're going through these games, and I don't know if you see it, fellas, the reoccurring mantra is, who the hell is going to show up and consistently, not just one game, you lose one, but who's going to put together 2 or 3 game stretches where you're like, oh, we might have to pay attention to them. There's no front runner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agree. What do you think about this one, Cole?
There's always a little debate about who is wide receiver you. Obviously, you look at LSU these last couple of years with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Those are some big, probably head of the class. But now you got Jackson Smith and Jigba coming up. Emeka Egbuka. McLaren's not really, doing what he's supposed to. But Garrett, I don't know. Something's in the water down there at Ohio State with these receivers. But I don't know. This game went like I thought it would. They were my pick to win the game. Like you were saying, this Texans team is just it was CJ Stroud, Nico Collins. I know Joe Mixon hasn't played. He was a big part of that offense last year. They got Nick Chubb from us, but that is not the same Nick Chubb we had, coming off those injuries. And they just lacked the playmaking. CJ Stroud had it that great rookie year. He hit the sophomore slump that everybody was saying would happen, and how is he going to bounce back this year? And yeah, they're, like you said, in a winnable division, they are just right there in the middle, probably sinking towards the bottom of it, honestly.
Yep.
But that's another team that, they're not in dire trouble like the Dolphins or those other teams, but they do need to start figuring it out over there, whether it be personnel changes or or what. But yeah, they need to get it going.
I hate the term sophomore slump because you have a good rookie season. Nobody knows what you're going to bring to the table. And then the next season, they have tape on you. So what are you supposed to do with that? I do agree that the Texans went through their own Cinderella situation. And you're looking at these young guys, this defense, and last year was not the best, but I don't know. That whole sophomore slump thing just eggs me because what do you expect? You can't be especially in a league that does not develop quarterbacks anymore. They just put you out there because everybody wants Tom Brady right now. Everybody, I can respect a Jordan Love because he's set. We're not doing that. Sitting is looked upon as this astronomical thing. If you got to be a man amongst men. But people forget, like, even in transcending to other leagues, like Kobe went through spots where he was shooting air balls. The level of progression for the youth in each sport is a little bit different these days. But I'm just not a fan of that whole sophomore stuff. Just say they're playing bad and figuring it out.
Yeah, I think Stroud will be fine. He's I don't think he regressed or anything. I think, when you deplete his O line, you trade away Tunsil, you don't protect him, this is what you get. So all right, moving into the other Monday Night Football game. We had Buccaneers at Lions. Bucks got smoked in this one, and Lions showed that they're still that dominant team in the league, winning 24-9. Baker looked human in this game. I know previously he was, he still, can be in that MVP conversation. But Detroit at home, they're hard to stop. And Gibbs, he was unstoppable in this one.
Keyword is home. I'm not saying they can't win on the road, but keywords is home because you can't come to Detroit and just think you're going to do anything. And it was a little strange. You talking MVP, and he's running all this heroics. You got to understand this Buccaneers team have been winning last possession games, literally. And now you have a full game of them that they did not look normal. And to see, people forget, as much as Baker Mayfield is scrappy in your face, he known for a pick every once in a while.
Yeah. What do you think of this one, Cole?
This was definitely one to watch. The Lions, they weren't winning the games that we thought they should be winning. And you mentioned Tampa Bay was winning all these one-score games. Like, if they were in it at the end, you just had a feeling that they, gonna do like what it takes to win. And this is, I don't know what their other loss was off the top of my head, but this one wasn't, I
think it was Eagles.
Yeah. This one wasn't really close at the end. I know Baker missed that one throw in the end zone late. The receiver had a couple steps on the safety and he underthrew him a little bit, but the Bucs are going to be fine.
They
didn't have. Mike Evans got hurt again. There was no Chris Godwin, no Bucky Irving. So they were kind of running with second, third stringers, and 28 of 50, 228 yards. With what he had to work with, that's to be. But then the Lions, we've talked about them all year, how high-powered that offense can be. And Jahmyr Gibbs, that we talked about earlier, is just an absolute monster back there, do it all. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he does what he does every single week, about around 100 yards and a touchdown. And then that Lions defense that's led by Aiden Hutchinson, he's not always, he's kind of like these Trey Hendricksons, the Myles Garrett's, TJ Watt. Like, when he's not getting sacks, he is just being a disruptive force back there every single snap. And as long as you're putting pressure on quarterbacks, like you're always going to be able, like, at least have a chance to win these games.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say this is what a good. I'm not going to say Adam Peters can take a page out of the Lions GM book, but this is what good GMing looks like. You got a depleted secondary. You just grabbing players from anywhere, putting it in your secondary. They're making plays. Defense looks outstanding. You know, and Detroit, like you said, that high-powered offense. They got rid of both of their coordinators last year. What do they do? Continue to win. It says a lot about their leadership, the GM, the head coach. It doesn't matter what kind of happens with this team. They can lose a star player, lose anybody. They can still figure it out. Go ahead, Mykell.
I was going to say, yeah, it's next man up, but I will
Mhm.
say this. The Buccaneers needed a reset, and they got it with a loss, unfortunately, but they got it with a reset. And again, back to the conversation of them being no front runners in this league. I'm interested to see how much people and fans in Detroit and people who like Detroit will be able to continue to give this team praise if they don't at least punch a ticket once.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna, they ran into the Commanders last year, and they played a game that wasn't even their game. It seemed if they would have kept giving it to Sonic and Knuckles, maybe that would have been a different game. But they ran away from it. They didn't get. It didn't seem like they game planned enough for it. But Dan Campbell has been exceptional. There's nothing you can say about Amon-Ra. There's nothing you can say about Sonic and Knuckles. There's nothing you can. Jared Goff, he occasional mistake, but he still is good for that team. But if they cannot eventually punch a ticket, you're going to get sick of seeing. I mean, you're already seeing it with the Ravens. It's like, what else do I need to do? Because as a GM, you ask me to do this, you ask me to do this, you ask me to do this. We do all of this. It's going to start coming down to coaching. It's going to start coming down to these players on the field. The Lions, within the next year or two, I'm giving it this year. They got to punch a ticket.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely get to the dance. Get in the game.
Yeah.
Definitely got to make an appearance for sure. And next, a team that was made an appearance last year. Eagles. This was probably the Hurts, probably his best game of the season. Thrown for over 300 yards, 3 TDs, getting his wide receivers happy and involved. Smith over 100 yards. AJ Brown had a great game. And it was against a great Vikings defense. I know the offense has a lot of injuries and questions, but it's still a good defense over there. And the Eagles was able to. I know the score is kind of closer than what it was, but the Eagles kind of had this one in their hand easily.
Yeah, they had it from start to finish. Poor JJ. I love Jettis. I know he got to be looking around like, what the hell? You gave 2 good quarterbacks away. I mean, say what you want about Kirk Cousins. Then you let my Sam go away. Like, what are you doing to me? Like, and there's nowhere he can go because he got his money now. So, but I know he's suffering at the hands of Minnesota, and it's crazy because Minnesota was one of those teams in the middle ground for years, and it just sucks. I mean, again, no front runner, but the Eagles are looking good right now. I mean, they're looking legit. Hurts is that man is doing what he's supposed to do. They had that game from start to finish. The morale was totally there from start to finish.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles are looking like contenders because you talked about this was Jalen Hurts' best game of the season. The Smith and Brown had huge games, and you know who we have not talked about in weeks? They just have Saquon Barkley there. Like they're not even running this offense to its full potential right now. They'll always have the tush push and all that garbage, but if they can find a way to keep the passing game going like this and work Saquon back into the mix where he's getting 100 yards, a touchdown, like the Eagles are definitely, I'd say, one of the favorites again this year. And yeah, the Vikings are just I didn't like the move of getting rid of Darnold. You were really relying on McCarthy, who didn't even play his rookie season due to injury. And now you're relying on Carson Wentz, who I don't know.
How many teams
Carson
is
Wentz.
this now?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Sam Darnold did it. I don't want to say Sam Darnold did it to himself, but he had the year that he had last year, and people wanted to see what he was going to do when he played a good defense, and they disrupted him.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed it. But that still didn't mean that he wasn't good
Exactly.
enough for the team, you know? So it'll be interesting to see what Hurts is able to do when he plays a legitimate defense. Because if you can get in there and disrupt him and make him question what he's doing, that the passing game for the Eagles is different. Then you gotta rely on Saquon. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think teams trying to put everybody in a box and just stop Saquon and see and kind of put the game in Hurts' hands. And this game, it worked out, but we'll see if he can continue that. Next is a sleeper team that nobody could have thought would be
Dropping
6-1 right
dimes
now.
on them.
Hey, Danny Dimes, Colts winning this one against the Chargers. Chargers are just falling off completely. Colts won 38-24. Jones, another great game. Accurate, probably another MVP candidate at running back. Taylor having 120 plus all-purpose yards. Defense is playing well, but the Chargers, I mean, early on in the season, we was kind of thinking that they was going to kind of take over that division. Chiefs was kind of losing. We was like, okay, Chargers can kind of possibly overthrow them in that division, but I mean, I'm not going to say it's Herbert's fault. I mean, he played, he turned the ball over a lot, but he played okay. But Chargers are sliding and Colts is ascending right now.
Yeah, if they don't have an MVP chance, like the Colts' next home game for either Daniel Jones or Jonathan Taylor for that matter, the Colts have been the surprise of the year. They are clicking on all cylinders. They are fun to watch, and like you had mentioned, we talked about this. This was going to be Justin Herbert's year to finally break out, get over the hump, take the Chargers to the playoffs. He got his receiver back in Keenan Allen and Johnson, and Ladd McConkey's been reliable. And then they lose two running backs to injury. But, but with a quarterback like that and that receiving core, that shouldn't set you back a whole lot. But it seems like the defense is letting them down. And, the Chargers are slipping in that division. The Chiefs are heating up. And I didn't think I'd be saying that. I was hoping the Chiefs were dead because I get tired of talking about them and seeing them up there. But that's not really a reason to hate on a team. But
yeah,
I mean, who don't? You don't want to see Taylor Swift in the box. I mean, hey, look, you talk about Justin Herbert. It's time to talk about Justin Herbert. As much I know he's been injured, and I love him too, but like it's time to put Justin Herbert in that same category that y'all talk about Lamar about. Like Joe Burrow, you got to start putting him there. I know he's been injured, but you got to start putting him there. You got Josh Allen, a little bit. You got to start putting them in them conversations because in the common denominator is a team that nobody want to talk about. You got to talk about the Chiefs. So, but it's uncanny to have the conversations that you have about Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson has been totally elite and over everybody. He should have got the MVP last year. You only gave it to Josh because you felt like you couldn't give it to him again. This league is not ready for no Kodak Black loving, braids, grill wearing Lamar Jackson to be the face of this league. And I can't wait till he gets a chip eventually so he can put the finger where the nice finger ain't there to all these people. But these same conversations you got to start having for the rest of these other guys. I know the Giants got to be looking at Daniel Jones like, damn, because you did it to yourself. Because you really, truly did it to yourself. Because you let Saquon go thinking that how you thought Daniel Jones made Saquon who he was. No, Saquon made Daniel Jones who he was. So you didn't give Saquon the money that you're supposed to give him. Daniel Jones regresses. And then look what you do with the Colts. And then the Colts, all them Ursays that took over, rest in peace, Jim. But y'all better be lucky this happened. Y'all been
Yeah.
very lucky this happened because much as I like Quentin Richardson, he was not ready for the league.
It
You
definitely
wanted
wasn't.
Peyton Manning so bad. You want this generational quarterback so bad. He was not ready. And in the film you saw of him in Florida, wasn't even a full season of film. Shout out to Daniel Jones, though.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones was literally brought in to be the backup quarterback there, and kind of compete with Anthony Richardson and
Anthony Richardson, excuse me, not Quentin. Anthony.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I don't know. The Colts are fun to watch. Like, I have no fandom for the Colts, but I do like seeing teams that they obviously they had their Peyton Manning. They had their Peyton Manning days, and then they kind of dropped down out of relevancy, and now they're right there. And
you could say Kobe. It's weird as hell watching them winning right now.
See, it really is.
We like the Colts since when we liked the Colts, and it's weird as hell to see the Colts looking good.
Yeah, and I felt the same way about the Lions too. I mean, obviously, I'm a Browns fan. I don't get to see a lot of good football. So, like, when other teams struggle and they start to break out, I'm like, hey, look at these guys. They're
could be us.
And then and we're still down here. But our time will come, and I'm like outsiders.
Look at us.
Like,
your day will
are
come,
the Browns
baby.
Are the Browns winning games right now? Is that Shador Sanders out there?
For whatever reason, they don't want to start him, and that's a whole nother controversy.
That's another one.
Looking at it now, what else? What did you have to lose?
Yeah, well, that's an hour-long conversation. But speaking of where Daniel Jones came from, the Giants, they're playing a lot better than what we thought early in the season. Almost beat the Broncos in Denver, but came up short. Broncos had a late kick in that game. A lot of mistakes late in that game for the Giants. Probably bad time management. Dart threw an interception late. But it's still a lot of good things going on with that team. It seems like they're still trying to find how to win. And that coach is, he's happy he gets to keep his job for another week. That was in question first few weeks of the season. But and the Broncos, I mean, Bo Nix, another one of the great young quarterbacks coming up. He's doing well, and that defense is still doing its thing. But Giants couldn't pull it out, but they're playing pretty good right now.
First question to you, Mike. What did Brandy say?
She said a lot of things. She just walked off the stage this week.
No, but what did she say? Almost doesn't count.
You right.
They can't get, I hope she fixes her problems before I buy.
Yeah, something going on with her,
but almost doesn't count. And I will say this about the Broncos. Bo Nix specifically. When you look at that draft class, him, Jaden, them guys have done their thing. That quarterback draft class has done their thing as far as what they needed to do coming into this league. You gotta give it to them.
Yeah. How you see this one, Coach?
I would. I think the Giants right now, what they have going on for them, they're built for the future. Obviously, they have Malik Neighbors. He's out with an ACL, but their young core right now is solid. And I definitely thought the Giants were going to win this game. Like you said, there was a couple miscues, and their kicker missed 2 extra points. That crucial one late in the game that would have made it a 3-score game. But they actually cut him the next day. They said, "No, we're done with this." But yeah, we've been talking about it all year. Good teams find ways to win games, and the Broncos have been a good team all year. They had their backs against the wall, even with that missed extra point at the end. Bo Nix still drove them right down the field and got them into the into field goal position. So I do think. Like we were just talking about that division, like the Broncos and Chiefs coming down the stretch there, that's going to be fun to watch to see how that plays out.
Yeah, definitely for sure. That's going to be a really good division. The later we get in the season, but yeah, that was all the games we had for review. I mean, we definitely, again, we thank you. We had you probably past your time, but we definitely appreciate you recapping these games with us. Yeah, definitely.
I does this.
Yeah. Anything you want to shout out, plug?
Well, shout out to your favorite sports podcast, roaming the airways, Rolling Ramos. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's ROLLING, like rolling down the street with Ramos. My last name RAMOS. Ramos, don't matter what border. Rolling with Ramos. I keep it interesting. So please get on this train. Come with us. We gotta return the favor, fellas, and have y'all on. You ever free on a Tuesday? Call me. Matter of fact, I call
for
you
sure.
because you had your people call me. I'll call you.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'm appreciative of this opportunity, and we family now. We in this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and y'all heard her, go definitely subscribe to her channel, Rolling with Ramos. Definitely give her all the subscriptions, likes, comment in the comment section. Let her know that you're there. And I mean, as always, definitely subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell. Let us know the next time. It'll let you know the next time we go live or we drop another episode. Leave a like on this video as well, and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about the recap games, and what you think about the games next week as well. And as always, until next time, peace.
See you guys.